well know that was done during Joe's tenure, as well as the multi-gen thing. Both of those projects should have been stopped in the beginning. They should never have come to a vote. They shouldn't have even considered a multi-generational recreation facility. Because of the visits they made to other cities that told them you're going to lose money. We lose anywhere from $2.5 to $3 million a year on that thing. But for Explorer Park, I think that we should forget about this character that says he's going to try to find $200 million and build a fence here. Throw that away. That's another fiasco. I think we ought to use Explorer Park. 1,200 acres, most of it forest land, and we're saying, oh, we need somebody else to help us develop this? I don't think so.
I think the multi-gen center, you know, I bought it from day one. I think it's an awful lot of money and that we shouldn't have been getting into in recent times, but we don't own Explorer Park. There was a lot of money that went into it. I wasn't on the board when Explorer Park started. When I was on the board, it was already in bad shape. You know, my hope was we should develop Explorer Park and make it for passive recreation. It's a lot of land. You could do passive recreation very, very inexpensively, but we don't make those decisions. We can try to push and we can guide and we can cut off monetary support, which we did a year or 2 years ago. You know, we don't decide those things.
To assess our properties, and they do it consistent with whatever real estate people do. Well, if the real estate people are telling you values are down 18% or whatever they tell you, and I'm not sure what the percentage ought to be, but if you can go through most all neighborhoods in this county and see a whole lot of houses for sale month after month, and you know people who bought houses at a hefty discount, there'd be an increase to pay for some of these projects that we shouldn't have gotten involved with to begin with.
The 18% figure, I don't believe it's accurate. The last figures I saw was March of this year. Well, the days on market had almost tripled, but the actual prices were flat or up slightly depending on where you were. So I take issue with actually seeing these documents, and if I read it in the paper, that doesn't necessarily mean to me it's accurate either.
Somebody else says about assessments on it. You look around and see that assessments shouldn't go up. The debate we had at Back Creek, Joe was invited, but you know, anybody that's ever tried to contact Joe, phone or email, has a hard time getting him to answer. And maybe that was part of the problem, but Jenny Henderson is very good at letting people know about those things. And she scheduled it along. Clay Goodman made it, as well as two of his administrators. And
every election time, emails I've gotten, no one responded. Well, here's my computer, Freedom of Information Act, we have to save emails forever. There's no email.
And look like a library and not have any niceties in them other than books and the ability to learn. We don't need a fireplace, we don't need coffee. It should be a normal library. It ought to be located where people can get to it, and it ought to be constructed in a manner to save the citizens' tax dollars, not an excessive amount of design.
The location's not my first choice. Again, you know, when you're on a board of supervisors, you can't leave with the impression that you're going to get everything you want the way you want it. I would do a lot of things a little bit different. When I first went on the board, I was full of vim and vigor and anger, and I was going to make all these things happen. It took me 2 years before I figured out that I was just spinning my wheels. You have to work with your fellow board members. You have to move everybody along. They need to work, and vice versa. Could we have changed the 419 library, expanded it, bought some houses behind it? Maybe. That was my preference. You have to keep going forward. The building costs right now are extraordinarily good, we believe. Now, if the bid on the library comes in much higher than we anticipate, then it won't happen. But
I asked Joe for help too, and the thing came back to me. Recipient rejected the email. And we've had the same response with some of the people we've talked to at Oak Grove. They said, we can't get Joe to respond to us. And if you want to see a copy of the email, here it is. You can judge for yourself that Joe not only didn't answer me, but he rejected my email.
I don't know how to reject an email. You know, I physically don't know how I go on my computer to reject an email, so you have a response that says recipient rejected email. Brought this to my attention once before. I said, well, send me a copy of the email. In fact, I think you brought it to my attention while we were sitting in...
On the Gypsy Mouth meeting where you all refused to get any money until we went to the TV and to the local newspapers and let them know the situation and that we were being refused. Then y'all decided it was worthwhile to come up and talk to us. Absolutely true, Joe.
There you have it.
I'm not getting personal, I'm sorry. I'm trying to control myself.